Alright, hello everyone. My name is Manny, and I have been a games lecturer for a very long time, about 7 years. And in the last, I would say, 3 months, I have been working relentlessly to build my own game. Now, the reason why I'm making this video now is because I'm trying to get a little bit of awareness and support as to what we can do with these games. Right now I'm working on an FPS, and I'll show you a little bit about it now. But the thing is, I will not be able to continue it with the same intensity, nor I will be able to release it anytime soon unless I get a little bit of support. So let me first show you what I've been working on so far, and then I'll let you take it from there, okay? I'll share a little bit of my goals with this game. I would say I've been doing the scaffolding for the game, so it is by no means complete. It is by no means not even halfway done, not even 30% done. But so I'm building the core values of the game. I'm building the mechanics. I'm beginning to create a sense of what the style should be. And yeah, I'll show you real quick what we have. So first of all, here, if I switch my camera over, this game I called it Titan for now, and it's just Titan based on the game that Blizzard was gonna release. Since they never released Titan, the title Titan doesn't exist. If it ever becomes a problem, I'm just gonna switch the game, but for the time being, Titan gave me a good idea of what the game should be like. I'm gonna switch off the music for now because it gets in my way. But yes, things like menus. So for context, I'm not a UI artist, I'm not a game developer, I am a 3D character artist. So environments, UI, and coding, I had to kind of figure it out along the way, although I do have some experience with that as well. Like I said, I used to teach it, so I can still build a game on my own. So this game starts off with just finding or creating your own lobby. So let's call this one test, test, and here we go. We create the room. Players are going to be met in this test room. So you got the red team, blue team, they're automatically assigned. So if I were to add more players, this already works. They will automatically be assigned right and left so that they meet two teams. You might say, okay, but how do I switch teams? You cannot. I'm trying to reconstruct the way ranked systems work in games based on my experience in gaming altogether. I played a lot of competitive games, and I've noticed a lot of problems that cause players to become more and more toxic, and I'm trying to get rid of that. For instance, my game will feature 3 classes: support, tank, and DPS. For now, I've only been working on the support because I feel like it holds a very general idea of what these players may be able to do. Once I'm done with the support, I'll switch off to the tank and DPS. I actually started working on the tank already. But the idea is you will play as one of the 3 classes every single match. Each match will play for around 10 to 20 minutes depending on the players. And the next match you will play as something else. It will be automatically decided for you so that you can climb the ladder with every class. You will not just be able to stick to whatever you think is overpowered, and you would have actually earned your rank. So you'll notice here I also added an alien language. I will teach it to the player bit by bit. So for example, only the leader with this icon can start the room. So I've already shown you what the leader icon looks like. This icon here, what does it mean? If you click on it, it says music. So obviously this is the icon for music. I'll teach the player bit by bit what this language looks like. So let's start the game here. I've sorted out loading screens. You can see we have this plant here that is growing. We have notification system, so 30 seconds to incoming rain. Why does it matter? We'll see in a moment. I have teleporters sorted out, so you can see each teleporter has its own icon. So here we go, we got another teleporter here, different icons, so players can recognize where they're going, but we do have teleporting windows. I'm not going to get into that just yet. So we are able to shoot, we're able to switch guns, and it looks like it started raining, okay? And you can tell because my visor is now occluded by rain, and if I hide under objects, then you see the rain dries up. Yeah, so that's the latest feature that I've done for it. Again, I can still snipe from here. You can see I have a bit of a, like a, I don't know, cyber night vision, something like that. It's anytime you scope, you see through this vision, which highlights anything that you can hit. So you can see these fruits are highlighted. You can see there's a selection system, so you can see those brackets lock in onto whatever I can shoot. And then I'm gonna have to die to show you the rest because there's no way I can get across the rain without dying. Not for now. There will be suits of armor that protect the player from acid rain, but for the time being, this will have to do. Now you may have noticed I just scanned the plant, so if I focus my visor on something, it will actually scan that object, you see? It's a Xenospora corrosivus, and it contains highly volatile spores that can explode, so be careful. And that's kind of the point. If a player is camping in a certain area, you'll be able to shoot this plant and kill them when those things drop. Those things deal damage. So here we are back onto the game. I'll show you how, we can turn things on, so you can interrupt actions. You can say I want to turn this on, boom, generator's on. I can now use the teleporter, and I can decide which teleporter I want to go to. Now let's see what else I can do. I added this huge beam so I can find the water more easily. That's not going to be in the game, but let's just go into the water, and there you go. You can see we're now inside. I'm not sure if you're able to hear it, but I do have underwater sounds already. Everything will have sounds. I'm taking care of that already. I just haven't implemented the sounds yet. I'm slowly taking damage from the acid water, which I'm probably going to speed up so I take more damage, but for the time being that's fine. You notice I don't take damage from the rain. That's because the rain is hitting the water, so I'm not taking damage from both at the same time. And I'm probably gonna die doing this, but I'll try to show you anyway. Getting crystals. This is gonna be a major part in the game. I want players to be able to farm, to be able to buy pieces of armor. So let's just quickly, before I die, get crystals. There's no way I can make it. There you go. Alright, so the next bit is just gonna be grabbing these crystals. If you shoot them, they fly towards you. Very similar to a game I used to play as a kid called Ratchet & Clank. So there you go, they fly towards me. Again, the idea of the game is the game starts kind of like in League. You're going to go farming, so the support will go get those crystals, while tanks and DPSs will do different things. I'll explain that later. But the idea is you go farming, and then you go to the shop, and you'll be able to buy upgrades. You'll be able to it started to rain. You'll be able to buy upgrades. You'll be able to get armor to shield yourself from the rain. At the moment, I do have a system where you can cover yourself, so players who did not manage to buy armor in time, they will be able to cover themselves. I'll have trees where the players can shield themselves. I'll have this planet is also trying to kill you in every way possible. You'll have creatures trying to kill you. You'll have rain trying to kill you. You'll have floods. So right now, the rain actually makes the water go up. It increases the water in size. So yeah, I'm gonna have bits that disable gravity. So there's gonna be entire areas where as soon as you come in, you're shot up into the air, and you're fighting in the air, which makes for pretty dynamic gameplay. It's, it creates the possibility for just different gameplay. I could add islands on the sky, and now the players can jump from island to island, because I don't want to disable gravity all the way, you know, make you fly all the way to the sky. Maybe I'll make you jump up and fight between floating islands. That's kind of where the game is at the moment. Of course, I have animations already sorted out. I can show you a little bit what my characters look like. So this is Kate Snow. This character will act as the support for my game, and she will not heal. She will not, you know, I wanted this support to be able to help the player in different ways. That would not copy other games, that would, you know, actually make it independent, you know, not reliant on having to follow a DPS, not reliant on the income of other players. So Kate is able to shoot on her own, like we saw in earlier footage. I tried to keep, you know, her graphics as consistent as possible. You know, like I said, I come from a 3D modeling background, so this was her. I'll show you a little bit more of her body. So she's wearing this suit to reflect the fact that she's a mechanic. Very tidy hair, you know, she's, you know, not messing around, even though in earlier iterations I had gone for something way more punk. But in this sci-fi world, we're still kind of grounded in reality. So hair's nice and tidy, you know, she's not wearing anything too crazy. You know, she has some plate here protecting her vital organs, but also acting as some sort of power generator for what I'm going to show you next. But first, let's just dive a little bit deeper into maybe the bag which she's carrying. She's carrying crystals which she's collecting, she has medicine and other things, and of course her visor, which allows her to see in the dark and, you know, makes it easier to identify who you're shooting at from afar, because you can see Kate's iconic yellow visor. Every class will have a different visor, so it makes it easier to identify players from afar. Of course, she's fully rigged. She's, you know, we have, this is fully rigged by hand actually, let me see. It is skinned, it is rigged using Maya. So I'm bit by bit just sorting everything out. It's gonna take some time for sure, but the game, it is as optimized as I could get it. Sure, I could even optimize it more, but I didn't see the point. The game features a 3v3, so I can actually allow myself to have more polygons. Although I am still using Blizzard as reference for how the characters are built. I did iterate with third-person views, POVs, so in the future I might also include a third-person view of this game. I don't see why not. I want to then touch on this, which is the platform system. So if I press Q, I get a platform. If I scroll, I can decide how high I want it, and I can put it here. You can see I have animations. You can see maybe the terrain was a little off there, but I can now spawn platforms and climb higher and higher. Now you will also notice on the right-hand side of my screen that as I climb higher, my danger levels go up. So now they're turned red, and that's because that calculates how high I am and how likely I am to die. So let's just go a little bit lower. Let's not die. But I'm going to show you something else that you can do with these platforms. So I said she's a support, so let's say we want to go through the acid water that we saw earlier. I can put some platforms here, maybe a little bit lower, so that I can allow players to use it as a bridge. And so my tank would be able to follow me, and we can work together to get across. But say now we've been spotted and somebody's shooting at us, I can now press R and rotate it to create a wall. The idea is not to copy what I saw in oh my god, I can't think of the game right now, but it's not to copy other games, it's not to build, it's to create shielding. So you only have 4 stacks that replace each other, so as I add more stacks, you'll see my previous platforms disappear. But I can rotate it in different directions, and you can see I cannot create roofing no matter how I do it. Maybe I can put one here actually and create a little roofing, but I've fallen. So it would be very difficult for the player to shield themselves. The idea is not for them to do it this way, it's not for them to cheat. I've also tried different iterations where I try to block these generators with the hollow platforms, and it's virtually impossible. The players will still be able to go through because you're never able to block a zone off entirely. There's no way. So players will have, flexible gameplay, but not all the way. There's still limitations, there's still rules to the game. I want to see how people improvise with what they have, and of course I'm going to add a lot more. So next I want to show you what I have in mind for the map of the game. So right now we're spawning over here, where all 3 players running wherever they want. Assuming the tank, and again, I've planned for different things. It's good that we already have all the games that I can use as reference. But say I compare this to League of Legends lately, but it will not be so obvious from the point of view of the player once they jump in. But the game will roughly be converted from this, where it is sort of like 3 lanes in a way. You assuming the tank goes to the mid, because the tank will be able to hold 2 players at the same time, meaning a single tank can fight a healer and a DPS on their own, or they can go toe to toe with another tank. So tank is going to be a very beefy guy, and I'll show you in a second. This is the tank. It's any one of these. I haven't yet decided. I'm actually considering between these 2, but I might make it so players can switch between them, so that they can decide for themselves whether they want to be like an aggressive tank, like a beefy tank, or more of an assault tank that just jumps in. So this one's meant to fly, this one's meant to jump, and then this one is meant to run. So very different type of gameplays that I can introduce. But the idea is, you have your tank going through the mid. Your support will take advantage of the destruction and try to take crystals for themselves and for the team, and enabling these yellow things, which are the teleporters. They're just indications of where I'm going to put them, but we saw teleporters earlier. And so we're enabling teleporters, assuming the other team is fighting you back in the middle, or even trying to go for the support. You still have a DPS that can flank from the side and try to take enemy teleporters. Now let's say your enemy goes and defends against your DPS, maybe they ignore the support, and so they're fighting the tank in the middle and the DPS in bot side. What happens is your support would have then enabled a teleporter that is far away from the fight, and your team could just immediately teleport from one side to the other with minimal cooldown, because I believe the cooldown right now is 10 seconds. It's done on purpose so that the fight is always shifting. You can decide to stay in one place, but you can just shift the fight from here to here in an instant, and now the enemy team is wasting resources in the wrong place because the whole team just shifted to the other side. Now you have 3 players on one lane just pushing to take your next teleporter. The other thing is these teleporters will be protected. You can vaguely see it, but these are indicators of the turrets that protect the teleporters. These are small turrets shooting at players. They're not like the turrets from League of Legends. They're not meant to be like that. They just shoot at players in vicinity. You are able to destroy them fairly easily, I would say. Like, they are bots, but a player should be able to outgun them. These red trees would be indications of where those explosive plants are. So these are to prevent people from camping. So you will be able to shoot those trees. Again, you do have floods, so certain teleporters will become unavailable once the waters go up. You will have earthquakes that disable teleporters. You'll have earthquakes that drop trees, so certain areas will no longer be accessible, or they will create bridges between areas that weren't there before. And the end goal is just to get to the other side and take the base from your enemy team, which is meant to contain a massive crystal, which is again what we've been fighting for all along. Now I know what you're thinking. This has potential to expand further than that, and I had my little sister actually asking me, can you please make more maps? So I've started engineering just very basic examples of what these maps may look like. This is not at all an indication of where these maps will be, but I wanted to explore the idea of having a map in a futuristic version of Earth. So I'm gonna have skyscrapers all over, an endless void of a fall, and players will have to fight in these flying platforms, over here, up there, and we're gonna see spaceships flying back and forth. Again, I know this is game a level similar in Ratchet and Clank. I love that game, and I don't see why I shouldn't bring it back. This little lovely creature, I did it as one of the enemies. I can't show you in its entirety, but I've done a fair bit of work already in designing creatures, in designing the lore. So there's going to be a single player for this game as well. I already wrote the whole story for the single player, and yeah, I mean, the game just needs a little bit of help because I am a single developer on this, doing the music, the animation, the 3D models, the concept art. Let me see if I have it here, a little bit of concept art to show you. So this is my tank for the moment. So he'll be able to pilot his own mech, but he doesn't have to. Again, very rudimental version. It's not at all indicative of how he's going to look like in the end. I did want to make him a little bit Asian. I have a Chinese girlfriend. I thought, why not bring some Chinese in there, some Japanese too. And I thought, yeah, make it as accessible to everyone too. So the game is just I plan to ship it in such a way that you buy it one time. You will not have to pay subscriptions. You will be able to get skins from the game. I plan to give skins for free, where you unlocking ranks will unlock skins, and then on occasion, obviously, to keep the project going, I will also make skins that are only available to people who pay, but it's not going to be anything too crazy. And of course, I like Overwatch because I realized this game features similar gameplay to Overwatch combined with Metroid Prime. I do want to bring in the minimap. I feel like that's something that Call of Duty nailed, and I don't know why it's been taken out by a game like Overwatch, for instance. A lot of games are shifting into that, and I don't think it's the way that it's meant to go. Yeah, I mean, the whole game has been a massive amount of work, designing icons, designing materials, designing everything. And I mean, I don't have time to show you everything, but I've already done the voices for Kate. I've already done the sounds for all the shooting, for all the water, for walking. It's all been sorted out. So I just need a little bit of help, a little bit of just seeing even suggestions. I do have right here with me a whole journal that I keep updating. You can see there's quite a bit of writing of all the things that I plan to implement. Even on the single player, since I already started planning it, I already know I'm gonna have an alien civilization, because when you're single player, you're not gonna have other players to fight. You're just going to be exploring. You're going to be uncovering a huge mystery that troubles the galaxy, and that's, you know, what the single player is going to be about. You're going to be exploring planets. You're going to be following a missing alien civilization, and you're going to try to find out what happened to them. And so, that's my game. That's where I'm at. It's only been 2 months, and I've done a tremendous amount of work. Keep in mind, the game is online. Even currently, I'm able to run it on 2 different computers, and we can shoot each other and choose different rooms. We can do all sort of things. And because I am my own boss and I have no other middleman, any new update I want, I just write it on the spot. I do the art on the spot, and we can start, making changes without delay. Let me know what you think. Help me if you can, and let's just make a game that we actually want to play. And I can probably release this by the end of the year.